Somewhere in Chile, a hitman named Michael is enjoying his retirement in his massive mansion. While he is hanging out, his baddie, Cindy with the cheeks, comes out of the pool, water dripping off her skin. Such a hot body. While Michael is getting ready to hit them cheeks, even popping a perky to get him perky, a hit squad is closing in nearby with a sniper with him in his sights. As Cindy goes for the glizzy, the sniper named Facundo hits him in the back, rocking him. The rest of the team, Alexi and Hilda, move in, possibly the worst hit squad of all time. They fire about 10 shots before Michael is down. As he dies, they tell him he got old before ending him. They could at least let the guy finish. Damn. We then meet Duncan Vizla, a hitman for the Damocles Company, going for his checkups with his doctor. After the basics, Duncan has his prostate examined, which wouldn't be so bad if the doctor would stop talking while his finger is in his nether regions. This doctor even offers Duncan pie after the checkup, which Duncan accepts instead of leaving in shame like all guys do after a prostate check. As they eat, Duncan reveals that he is looking forward to retirement and just doing normal stuff. After the doctor, he goes to see his accountant and they go over some retirement details, and he learns that he is to receive a pension bonus of over $8 million from the company. Duncan then meets with Damocles agent Vivian and wants to know what happened with Michael. Vivian explains that Michael is the fourth agent to be killed, and they suspect a Mexican hitman by the name of Pedro Gonzalez who is currently in Belarus. She gives Duncan the mission to carry out a revenge hit, learning that their boss specifically requested him for the mission, but Duncan refuses. After the meeting, Duncan does a little shopping, grabs a movie, then sees a girl selling a dog nearby, and even though he says he doesn't need a dog, ends up buying him anyway, naming him Rusty. He gets home to his remote cabin in the woods, gives Rusty a bone and pops a bottle of vintage alcohol and even shares it with his dog. That night as Duncan sleeps, he has a nightmare about a past hit gone wrong, and out of reflex, he jumps awake, ends the dog's life subscription, then stares in disappointment. He buries the dog the next morning and sees his neighbor, a young woman, struggling to chop some wood before driving out in her Jeep. Duncan decides to get himself some fish as pets instead, and when he gets back home, he gets a message from his employers but ignores it. The neighbor returns home and is shocked to see that all the wood has been chopped, while Duncan just observes her in pride. After the 15th message from Damocles, Duncan gives Vivian a call and she insists that he take the mission, offering $2 million for the kill. After the call, Vivian tells her employer Mr. Blute that she thinks it's a bad idea to set Duncan up, but Mr. Blute, with his weird skin tone, does not want to pay $8 million in retirement money. He meets with a team looking to purchase the company, but due to Blute being in debt, he reveals his plan to kill all agents who are nearing retirement age, to collect their pensions and pay off his debts. Duncan is on his way to Belarus, tormented by the same nightmare of the hit where he is unable to open the door to a car. He gets to Belarus and turns up to the hotel of Pedro as a repairman and begins drilling into a door nearby his room. Meanwhile, Pedro is inside having a good time when he hears the drilling and comes storming out. Duncan grabs him and nails him to the wall, causing him to cry out in pain. His men run out and Duncan kills them all. Inside the room he sees a file with his pictures and details. He goes back to Pedro wanting to know who set him up, but Pedro swears he does not know. Duncan kills him and gives Vivian a call, telling her to wire the first $1 million to get started. Once he gets the money, he confirms the kill, much to Vivian's surprise. He tells her to send his money, and she better pray that she had nothing to do with setting him up. Weird-ass Mr. Blute is getting some cream rubbed on his body when Vivian comes storming in. She tells him his plan did not work and now they have to pay Duncan so they don't have to sleep with one eye open. Mr. Blute reluctantly agrees and plans to send in his A-team to get the job done. The team turns up at Duncan's accountant's office, beating the poor man into revealing Duncan's financial details before killing him. Duncan is getting some shopping done when he overhears his neighbor chatting with the clerk about how her logs got chopped but says nothing about it. It is his birthday, and he celebrates it like most men do when they pass 30, alone in a dark room. Cindy Cheeks turns up to an address listed on Duncan's properties. She heads inside claiming to be taking a survey, but dude is not stupid. You're not taking any survey with your cheeks to the breeze like that. He smacks her, asking her if she's into kinky stuff. Realizing that this man is not Duncan, the team bursts in and Hilda shoots him in the head, before Cindy starts stabbing him out of anger. Duncan is having coffee when his neighbor comes in and takes a seat beside him. The two have an awkward talk about how peaceful the town is and Duncan sees that she's easily scared and timid. Cindy Cheeks and her team get to another one of the properties that has been taken over by some kids. They swear they don't know anything but Hilda kills one, another tries going through the window and gives himself a concussion before getting shot. Duncan and his neighbor Camille have met up for lunch where she wants to know more about him, as he looks different from the other people around town. Duncan tells her that he was in the traveling funeral business and has been to 99 countries. She thinks it would be great if he could tell the kids at the local school about other countries, but Duncan confesses he doesn't know how to talk to kids. Vivian Cheeks and her team get to the last location but no sign of Duncan, just a wail of a man they're having a hard time killing. Facundo shoots him about 6 times and the guy just farts and starts cursing at them again, so everyone unloads on him. Let's see you fart your way out of this one, buddy. Turns out, Duncan does know how to talk to kids, about how to perfectly kill another human being, which the kids seem to be really into, even clapping after he displays his killing moves. He then passes the weapon around to the kids and I think this school needs to be on Interpol's watch list. Time for questions. One kid wants to know how they bury people in India, and from his memory he knows they burn them. For every question, he recalls his various missions and gives them the answers. He then shows them a dead body that has been in the sun for 3 weeks. Someone get this man away from the kids. After, he goes by Camille to bring her a gift. Since she said she liked knives, he bought her a freaking gun. She doesn't know how to shoot, so he plans to teach her. Hilda and the team are going through Duncan's financial details, when they stumble upon his charity checks under a bank account in Triple Oak, Montana, and decide to head there to find him. Duncan takes Camille out into the woods to teach her to shoot, but once she takes the gun, she breaks down in tears for some reason and drops it. Later they head back to Camille's apartment where she reluctantly tells him about a bad experience she had when she was just a kid. She fantasizes about finding the man, reminding him of what he did and shooting him dead, but she is just scared. Duncan heads by a store to get Camille another gift, unaware that Facundo has spotted him and they follow. Duncan is driving back home when he sees a car broken down on the road and stops. Turns out to be Cindy Cheeks, asking for his help. Duncan picks her up and brings her back to his place to stay for the night. She tries hitting on Duncan right away, and he ends up demonetizing those cheeks. Meanwhile, Facundo has them in his sights as the rest of the team surround the house. Cindy goes for the glizzy, but Duncan has made out Facundo's sniper beam and he makes Facundo shoot Cindy. He rolls off the bed butt naked trying to avoid gunfire from Facundo. Duncan kills Cindy with an axe to the head and vanishes before Vivian and the rest can come in. Facundo is scanning for him when Duncan appears behind him, nuts hanging, and kills him. He then takes Facundo's earpiece and uses the sniper rifle to shoot out all the lights in the house and goes night vision. They send one man to try and ambush Duncan, but he gets caught in an ambush and shot dead by Duncan. Hilda lights flares to cover them, but instead of leaving while the flares were bright, the idiots are still in the house, and Duncan spots Hilda's breath and shoots her dead. Duncan takes a key from one of the bodies which leads him to a motel room where he sees a girl passed out. Before he leaves, the girl mumbles asking if they got the girl. Duncan then realizes that they were also after Camille and rushes over, but the place is empty and in a mess. Duncan races back to the motel but the girl is gone. Blute is mad at the news, threatening to kill Duncan. Vivian warns him to pay Duncan his pension, hand over the neighbor and forget about him, but Blute refuses. Duncan heads over to a local bar to meet with his friend Porter, wanting to know what is going on. Porter reveals the pension scheme and that the girl is probably being held in Blute's mansion. Before Duncan can leave, Porter suddenly drugs him, causing Duncan to pass out. Duncan wakes up tied in a torture chamber with Mr. Blute telling him that he hurt him, and his death will be slow. Blute taunts Duncan with photos he took of Camille, saying that he will have his way with her while Duncan watches, and tells him the story of William Wallace, who was brutally tortured for betraying the King of England. Blute then proceeds to torture Duncan for 3 days by cutting and stabbing him, which causes his knife to break off inside Duncan, then finally removing his eye. After 3 days of immense pain and torture, Duncan is alone and manages to pull the broken knife blade from his wound, using it to pick his locks. It is day 4 and as the guards come in, Duncan surprises them and kills all the guards in the room. Blute hears the scream of his guards from outside, then the lights go out. He sends in a few men but they get killed in an instant. Blute then runs away like the bitch he is, leaving his guards to get slaughtered by a half-dead man. Duncan brutally mows his way through the incoming men, breaking bones and canceling life subscriptions. He gets shot, but all these guards don't add up to half and they all die. Duncan staggers across the city, beaten and bloodied but determined to save Camille. He heads over to another old friend Jasmine and gives Vivian a call, telling her that he will trade his life for the girls, but Mr. Blute hasn't learned his lesson and still wants to hurt Camille. After recovering from his wounds, Duncan begins to prepare for war, stocking up on high-tech weapons, looking like a pirate. A team is prepared and sent out to ambush him before he can get to Camille. Duncan then stops at an empty warehouse and begins to set up his weapons. He calls Vivian, setting up the trade for tomorrow, but he knows they are coming for him now, so he stays on the line and allows them to trace him. The team pull up to the warehouse and surround Duncan, thinking that they have him cornered. Vivian taunts him that he is getting old and how they tracked him easily, but he gives her one chance to walk out alive. The men move in to kill him, so Duncan puts on some gloves and like magic, he summons bullets. Just kidding, the gloves are wirelessly linked to hidden machine guns that wipe out the entire team including Vivian. Blut, who is watching on the camera, sees this and takes a crap in his pants. Duncan begins to clean up the mess, before standing over Vivian. Blut calls for his guards and only has around 5 guys left with him. Outside, they see Duncan walking in menacingly and his men say to hell with this and split. They politely allow Duncan to pass them, saying their good evenings. Duncan strolls in, picks up a massive axe before facing the fat tub of lard. Blut picks up a gun and a knife, but soon, his head goes flying out the window. Duncan finds Camille, all drugged up and out of it, and carries her out. He stays by her bedside caring for her until she recovers. He wakes up one morning and sees that Camille has gone through his stuff. It is revealed that the recurring nightmare he has is when he attacked Camille's family when she was much younger, killing everyone except her. She then appears holding a gun to him, having remembered everything and asking him why he left her. Duncan confesses that he got the wrong information and the hit was a mistake. Camille reveals that someone was always taking care of her, paying for schooling and everything, and she traced it back to him. Duncan regrets this, and tells her to close her mind and pull the trigger, ready to accept his fate. A shot rings out, but she has not shot him. She wants to know who wanted her father dead, and Duncan promises that they will look for him. Remember to turn on notifications, so you can watch more movie recaps like this. Thanks for watching.